Eggs. They are astronomical right now. And that being said, we need to know how to preserve them for the long haul. Now, there may be an occasion when you find some eggs on sale. That sale may not be as cheap as what we're used to being, but they may be cheaper than what they are right now. You may just have a little extra and say, you know what? I wish I could buy me an extra carton of eggs, but it'll take me too long to use them. So today, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to show you how you can preserve store-bought or farm fresh eggs, either one. The way I'm getting ready to show you how to preserve them, one way, they will last for 18 months to 2 years. The other way, if you store it right, they'll last for 5 years, okay? So, let's preserve some eggs. Okay, so I have a lot of eggs already preserved in the manner I'm getting ready to show you right now. So I'm only going to show you a couple because I've already done them and I have plenty tucked away. So I don't want to just continue to do it just to be doing it, okay? So first of all, you're going to either need a muffin tin or some kind of pan. It can be glass, tin, it can be the foil tins that you can pick up at the Dollar Tree, anything, okay? You're just going to need something solid. You can use muffin holders, the paper liners that you would put muffins in, or you can use silicone ones. Now, I have some with this method already done, and I use silicone. The reason why you need this is to either put them in here like this, because you're going to need something to hold. Silicone, even though it's wonderful to bake with, it's flimsy. Whether you're making a muffin or doing it to preserve your eggs, it's flimsy. So you always need something to sit your silicone in. Same thing, of course, with the paper linings. If you do not have a muffin tin like this, that's where this little cake pan comes in at. You can do the same thing with the cake pan. Just line them up. Make sure they're touching so that they can support one another. And in this case, you would only be able to do however many would fit in here. Now, this is my smaller tin. Usually when I'm actually preserving them, I use a muffin tin that holds 24. But I just grabbed this one today, put them in here like that, and I'm gonna set that one aside, all right? So now, in order to preserve our eggs, what we're getting ready to do is to freeze them. There are two ways you can freeze them. You can freeze them just by cracking them in here, or you can freeze them by cracking them in a separate bowl and beating your yolk just a little bit. The difference is, now I have a very, very similar video like this on my gardening channel at the Scaredy Cat Garden on YouTube that I did several years ago showing how to preserve the eggs. And in that video, I froze them without beating the egg. And yes, the egg will still scramble. It will just take a little bit more when you get ready to scramble them to beat it up. So therefore, this time I am going to actually beat the eggs. Now, I went over a little bit more or different things in that video, and I will link that video in this description if you want to take a look at it. Once you've cracked your egg, go ahead and scramble it up or beat it up so that you can incorporate the yolk with the white part. When you get ready to use this egg, you'll be able to scramble it a little bit easier in your skillet. It's also good for baking, or if you want to use it as a binder, because typically when we do that, we need to lightly at least scramble the egg or beat the egg, then just pour it into your muffin tin. Now you want to do that same process for as many eggs as you're going to preserve. After you have it like this, you want to sit it in the freezer until it is completely frozen. Once it's frozen, it should look like this, okay? All right, then you need to sit it on the counter or sit it somewhere and allow it to thaw. You can sit it on the counter. You can sit it in the refrigerator if you want it to thaw overnight or something of that nature. And then go ahead and use your egg as you normally would. This is what it looks like once it's thawed. Now I'm going to take you over to the stove and I'm going to actually scramble this up so that you can see how it cooks after it's been frozen and thawed. Okay, my skillet is heating up so that I can go ahead and show you how this egg is scrambled so that you'll know for sure that this was the frozen egg. I've got all three right here. I've got the one that I just cracked open. I also have the one that's frozen and I have the one that's thawed still in the muffin tin. Now, after we finish scrambling this egg, next I'll show you the second way that I preserve my eggs. So let's get this one scrambled. Okay, so here's the egg that is thawed. Here's the egg I just cracked. And here's the one that's still frozen. Now, because this was sitting for a while and it's just been frozen, I'm just going to gently stir up that egg again, and we'll go ahead and scramble it. See how nice that's scrambled up? Okay, there's your frozen preserved egg number one. Okay, so the next method is dehydrating your eggs, okay? I've got some that are in my dehydrator now, but I'll show you the process of dehydrating. First thing you're going to make sure you need are these little silicone trays that will come with your dehydrator. If it doesn't, then you'll need to get some for your dehydrator. Now, you probably can dehydrate these in the oven. I have never done that, but I would imagine if you do, you're going to put it on maybe about 250 and let her rip until it's dehydrated. The process to start it will probably be the same. So I'm going to bring you all up closer and get started. Now, so that I won't waste any of my eggs, the egg that I just cracked to show you all how to freeze the eggs, and I cracked it and put it in this muffin tin. This is what I'm going to show you because I have lots of powdered egg already, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and show you this process, and then I'm going to show you what the egg looks like once it's dehydrated and what you need to do from there. Okay, so I have the silicone sheet on top of the wire rack. Now, if you want long-term storage, and when eggs ever go on sale again, you might want to do this process at that point. Again, you would want to have your egg scrambled completely, okay? Beat it really well. Incorporate that white into that yellow as much as you can. And then go ahead and just pour it on. Now, you can spread it out all over the silicone tray as best you can. The thinner it is, the less time it will take to dehydrate. Either my counter or my dehydrator is not perfectly even, so it takes a little longer because it all moves to one side once I put it in there, no matter what I do. So, but I still try to spread it out as much as possible all over this whole sheet. Doesn't matter if you got just a little bit in an area or a lot, but you want to cover it because, like I said, the thinner it is, the least amount of time it'll take. Typically, when I'm dehydrating, it's going to take me at least 6 hours. But for the shelf life, it is well worth it. Well worth it. And I'm going to show you how to rehydrate it and how to cook it. So let's go over to the dehydrator. Okay, so this is my dehydrator, and I'm only using one tray, but I'm going to leave those inside of it. Because it's liquid, be careful. Again, that's what it looks like up close. Just slide it in. Now I'm going to be dehydrating this at a time, I'm going to start my time at about 6 hours. And my temperature, it's already there, but my temp is on 122 degrees Fahrenheit. All right? And it's going to take about 6 hours. However, let me show you what it looks like once it's done and what we need to do next. Now that it's all dehydrated, you just want to take it and we're going to grind it up. This is just the blender part of my coffee grinder, one of my coffee grinders. I'm just going to put it in here. We're going to grind it. After we grind it, we are going to then take the powdered form and dehydrate it again to make sure it is good and dry. So that we can make sure we have it nice and powdery for long-term storage. Now, we're going to put it right back on this sheet and we're going to dehydrate the powder again and blend it again. Make sure you use a silicone mat and just spread it out. So we're going to dehydrate this again and we'll be back. Okay, now this is the second time that it's been dehydrated. Need to grab a spoon and it's nice and dry. However, we are going to process this one more time in our little grinder here. Take this out, it's easier. So we're going to put this back into our grinder again and we're going to grind it one more time, making sure it's extra fine and it's extra dry. But as you can see, it's nice and dry. Okay, so now we got it back into our little coffee grinder here and we're going to grind it again. Now I like to store mine in these little bitty, I guess half pint size or pint size, I don't even know what size they are, little mason jars. I'm going to go ahead and put it in here, but before I seal it, I'm going to show you how I seal it, because if it's properly sealed and kept in a cool, dry place, it will last for up to 5 to 10 years. So if you see eggs on sale, it would behoove you to do this. When it comes to preserving food, a lot of people can food and things like that. I'm not big on canning, but I am on dehydration. I love to dehydrate. I love to dehydrate herbs and everything else, okay? So now this right here in this jar is 2 eggs. Now, when I finish dehydrating that last one that I just put in there, I'll put it in there. So this little jar holds about 3 eggs. And the reason why I like these jars is because I can take 1 jar and use it. Typically, if we're having breakfast, 3 eggs is great for myself and my husband. If I'm doing anything else, I know that if I don't get around to it, I'm not opening up and wasting a larger jar. So now, what do we do to cook this egg? Okay, for one thing, once you rehydrate it, you can use it for anything. You can bake with it or whatever. I'm just going to scramble it because I'm going to test the taste of the frozen versus the dehydrated. So for every tablespoon, or for 2 tablespoons of dehydrated egg, you want 4 tablespoons of water. And as you can see, that's about half. So we'll see how much egg this makes, okay? So now we need 4 tablespoons of water. You want to mix this 2, 3, 4. After you mix this, you're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes, okay? Now that we have it all combined, we're going to let it sit and we'll be back. While we're letting our eggs sit for the 5 minutes, this is what I have in here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I completely seal it. Okay, so after I finish dehydrating that last egg, I will then put it in here as well. So I'm not going to seal it, but before you seal it, now if you can get, or if you have a mason jar sealer, that's perfect. Take some distilled white vinegar and you just want to wipe the rim of your top. You want to make sure there's none of your powdered mixture or whatever you have in your jar on top of it, and or anything from your hand or anything else. You want to make sure it's absolutely clean before you put your top on it. You also don't want to touch your top because it should be clean as well. So if you have a canning set, you want to use your little magnetic thing, get your top, grab it like that, and put it on. That way you're not touching. That way you're not touching anything, okay? And then if I was going to seal it, I would use my sealer at this point, put it on there and get it sealed. But for now, I'm just gonna put the rim on here because I'm just giving you all an example and I need to fill it up some more. Be sure to write your date on here, powdered eggs, because this could look like mustard seed or something else. So make sure you write what it is and the date on here. Okay, we've been sitting for about 5 minutes and as you can see, it's thickened up quite a bit. So now you want to add in just a tad bit more water, just a little bit, maybe a teaspoonful, and mix that in so that it can liquefy a little bit more. Okay, and you'll know how much more water to add in till it looks like a regular egg. I'm going to add just a tad bit more, and it's going to depend on how much egg you have in your bowl. So there is no specific measurement because you don't know exactly how much egg, or I wouldn't know how much egg you have to tell you, okay? All right. Okay, so now let's head over to the stove. Okay, always stir again. Okay, we are done. Okay, so we have froze our eggs and we have dehydrated our eggs. My personal preference is dehydration, okay? For one, 5 to 10 years, hello. So like I said, if you have the opportunity to get your hands on quite a few cartons of eggs, a dehydrator is an amazing investment, okay? And I know a lot of people say, I can't afford a dehydrator. I can't afford the eggs. Well, I want you to do something. I'm gonna take a minute right quick. I want you to do something. But what I want you to do is take a pen and a piece of paper. And every time you buy something for the next week or two, I want you to write it down. Everything you eat for the next week or two, I want you to write it down. And at the end of that week or two, I want you to go back over that list. And for everything you bought, I want you to put the cost of it down. For everything you ate, I want you to put the cost of it down. Then I want you to go back over that list and I want you to scratch out everything that wasn't necessary. Everything. If you had a Starbucks coffee, scratch it off. If you had a candy bar or some potato chips or some popcorn, scratch it off. If you had a burger from a burger joint, scratch it off. If you were watching Netflix or anything else, think about the cost. Okay? Where there's a will, there is a way. And with God before us, who can dare be against us? So, if you really need to buy the eggs, find a way. Find a way. okay? You ain't got to eat an egg a day. But if it's something specific that you know you're going to need eggs for, or eggs is part of your diet, your healthy diet, and you feel you need the eggs, take something else off the list. I'm pretty sure. Or are you putting flavored coffee creamer in your coffee? All right? What did you buy that you could have done without? All right? Sometimes we have to let go of something that we want in order to get something that we need. It may not happen overnight, but where there is a will, there is a way. And as I said before, with God before us, who can dare be against us? That being said, if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate each and every one of you all. And you think egg prices are too high? I think they're too high. Take a second and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 1.5 million subscribers. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for keep coming back again and again. And channel members, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Okay, don't forget to check out my other channels, Pam's POV, Pam's Pop-Up, and At the Scaredy Cat Gardener, all on YouTube. And by the way, I have another full tutorial on At the Scaredy Cat Gardener for preserving eggs there. And I go into a whole different set of detail, and I think that one might even be a little bit more detailed than this one. So I'll leave that link in the description. Check that video out and subscribe over there too. So let's taste our eggs. So this one right here, what I think looks the darker one, is the frozen egg. This is the dehydrated egg. So we're gonna taste the frozen one first. Okay? It tastes like egg to me. It has a little bit less flavor, and all of the eggs were this out of this box, okay? All the eggs were out of this box, all right? So these are all free-range eggs out of the same batch. And it's good. It's good. It cooked up a little bit harder than I like my eggs, but that could just be a matter of me cooking them a little bit less, okay? Let's go on to the dehydrated ones. The dehydrated ones are delicious. Both of them are very, very good. Personally, I would suggest if you can do both methods, do both methods. Use the frozen ones on the short term because those are only going to last 18 to 24 months. But if you have an opportunity to put away a quart-sized jar or a couple of quart-sized jars of dehydrated eggs or several of these dehydrated, 5 to 10 years, okay? Now, the video I did over on Scaredy Cat Gardener was done about 3 years ago because egg prices were so high. It's just 3 years down the road and we're back here in the same boat and the prices are even higher. That tells you that it's going to happen again. So the fact that these were preserved for 5 to 10 years, you need to have some of those in your pantry, okay? So I will see you all next time. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Bye-bye.